Welcome to RetroLogic. I am Dan Caporello here with John Cummins and Sam Wagers. That's my robot
What's
intro,
up?
because at some point this is all going to be taken over by AI anyway. It's just going to be like, it's going to sound just like us, but it's going to be all like weird. Like, what would AI intro of this sound like? Like, welcome to podcast. Today we're going to talk about retro video games. I play Mario and Donkey Kong.
My voice is already almost there.
I'm already replaced with a robot.
Yep.
Yeah, I would be the one that's hard to replace with a robot because there's no rhyme or reason to any of this. But RetroLogic isn't just a podcast; it's a whole community of retro gamers. We've got an active, I was going to say an archive, which we do. We do have an archive section of our Discord, but it's not the most exciting place right now. We have an active, friendly, and free Discord community which has giveaways and contests, and you can dive into our family of retro podcasts like RetroGroove, a music history podcast, and On Topic Retro, a podcast dedicated to one video game per episode, hosted by our very own John Cummins, and you can find everything at our website, retrologic.games, which I just did some updates to, so you should at least go and check out my hard work. At least. At the very least. And then go to the blog.
Yeah. The blog.
The blog. What have you guys been up to this week? Anything cool going on? Any video game stuff you're doing? What's the haps?
I just bought a Retroid Pocket Flip.
Oh yeah, those went on sale tonight, in fact.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tonight, about
the only color
an hour
purple.
and a half ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the one I wanted anyway, but I put a little poll in the Discord and everyone else picked purple too. It seemed like the right answer.
Got to. I'm a little worried about those joystick pad things.
It's supposed to be the same ones that are in the 3DS. So
yeah. Okay. I look
seem
forward
to
to
be
your
They're like slide pads, not really like.
Well, yeah, there's sliders, but they have L3 R3 functionality. Like they click still.
That's good.
So
that is good. That's
It's always good to have that if you can map something to it that's useful.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like they're really pushing. Like they're even advertising on their website that like it's a really good streaming device for like anything for PlayStation Remote Play, Xbox streaming, even just Steam Link,
Stadia.
Anything you can think of, yeah. It's Stadia. Play Stadia on my Retroid Pocket.
I'm still waiting for my
hilarious.
refund from Stadia.
I think that was all just like a dream.
Where's my
They're
freaking
like, yeah, we're going to
refund?
refund everyone, and then no one gets refunds.
No, people got refunds. I was supposed to get a refund. I don't know what to do about that. Nothing. Just lost. Sunken cost. That's going to be cool. We're going to get a blog, another review on the blog whenever you're ready to throw that up. So that'll be cool.
Right.
Yeah. Sam, what about you? Anything happened this week for you?
Been playing a lot of Octopath Traveler 2. Also a lot of Splatoon 3, which I thought I was done with. I kind of got hooked back in during the last big run, and I kept playing. I had a lot of fun playing Big Run, and then I was like, man, I should play some ranked battles again. And then I
sucked right back in.
Close enough to hitting S+ that I had to do it.
Yes.
So I did some very intense, sweaty Splatoon play for a week to make that happen. I unlocked X rank battles, and after getting my X power placement, I made it go down. So I think I'm done.
What were you maining during your S+ rank?
Is a lot of 92 gal deco. That it's like you're
so
playing
good.
with a handicap if you're not using it.
So good.
Yeah,
I
mean,
the
I do
gals.
think the Kraken is busted and it needs to be nerfed immediately, but
Yeah.
I'm not above it.
No, I've been using gals since Splatoon 1. Gals, both the gals. They're my favorite.
It's always been a good weapon, and
Yeah.
the wall makes it better, and the Kraken is like the best special right now. So
for sure.
Especially in ranked modes, because it's pure invincibility, which you can do similar stuff with the crab tank, but if people shoot you enough, it wears off faster. With the Kraken, it just doesn't. Like you just, it's automatic pressure.
And your maneuverability,
you don't even have to do anything.
Your maneuverability in the crab tank is all wonky too.
But I might be done with ranked. I'm still looking forward to the next Splatfest. So.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a cool one.
It'll be fun.
I beat Metroid Prime Remastered on normal difficulty. I'm going to play through it again on hard mode now that that's unlocked. What a freaking just, man, every time I play this game, I'm just reminded, like, yeah, this is like, it reminds me of Star Fox 64 because it's just such a well-crafted experience. Right, it's not doing anything really like that crazy or lofty, but it just nails all the things it's trying to do: atmosphere, and exploration, and Metroidvania stuff, and just like the character of Samus, and I mean the graphics now are just mind blowing. I can't like it's such a well crafted like jaunt through this game. It's so good.
I've been playing through it as well.
Yeah.
In preparation for this week. Probably won't complete it before I record the episode, but planning to get us. I think I'm about to get to the mines. Everyone's favorite part of the game.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm getting close.
Yeah, like legit. I think Omega Pirate is harder than the final boss. I think.
There's a good chance.
It's just such a like that final boss took me 2 tries. Omega Pirate took me 4 tries. And actually the whole mine section, there's a whole section in there where there's no health and there's no save points until you get to a very far section. And that part took me 5 tries, just the mine part.
Still my least favorite part of the whole game is the thermal visor.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just, like, my eyes just don't do good with it. That game's really dark in general.
Yeah.
And there's, like, some areas where I struggle to find the path that I'm looking for. Like, I do a lot of wandering around like a blind person in the dark in that game. It's pretty funny.
I had to look up what to do, I think, twice. I literally had to Google what to do twice. And I'm not above that.
Forgot.
I'm here to play the game. I'm not trying to, like, win any awards.
Oh, yeah.
But I definitely want to play through it again on hard mode. It's just, I think it's like in my top 5, maybe 3 video games of all time. Just
good.
That good.
The only things I've looked up is, every once in a while, if I see like an upgrade, like a missile upgrade or something, and I don't remember the puzzle, like I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I'd rather look it up now. If I have the ability to do it, I don't want to pass it up.
Right, for sure. Well, and one of the things I looked up was stupid. It was like, where's the ice beam? And it was literally like a beacon that the game had already showed me. And I was like, okay, I'm a huge dum-dum. So
yeah, I just need to go where it's telling me to go.
I was just wandering around for so long. I was like, just tell me where to go. And it literally did. But yeah, gosh, what a freaking amazing game. Makes me all the more hyper for Metroid Prime 4 someday.
And remasters of like 2 and 3, they're coming.
I really hope they do 2 justice, because 2 needs a remaster like 1 got a remaster. It doesn't need it needs some TLC. I might just go play 2 on my GameCube.
Well, I've played some of it. I went back and played because it was the one that I didn't play all the way through.
It's a lot harder than 1. Yeah.
But to me, 3 is the one like I think 3 could use some assistance.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I played 3, admittedly. So,
like, it's very integrate, like the motion controls and stuff. I don't know. Like, I know that they're optional, but like I think they could do something with the Switch to make them fit. Like, just upgrade them some way.
Yeah, maybe. Do the old Skyward Sword treatment on it.
that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, Skyward Sword's motion controls felt better on the Switch almost than they did on the Wii.
Yeah, that's probably true. The technology's better. I didn't use any motion controls on my playthrough of Skyward Sword. I did not. I was just like, I'm handheld. I'm just going to play normal, and had a blast with that game. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping, guys. Sam, what's going on with your streaming? What's up?
I'm making good progress on Mega Man Battle Chip Challenge. Actually, last stream, I rolled credits. There is like a continuation post credits, but yeah, there is actually a credit roll when you clear the S rank tournament, but then you unlock like 4 more tournaments. So stay tuned for more of that next Monday. I'll probably do a special extended stream on a Saturday, because the last open battle is like the hardest thing, and it's a 100 battle gauntlet, so that's going to take a while.
Oh, wow.
But I'd love to stream it if I can.
That'd be awesome.
So
yeah.
Stay tuned for that.
Okay, cool. And then, John, anything coming up for On Topic Retro?
So I'm recording a show. Well, it might not be tomorrow night now. I might move that to Thursday since we're recording tonight. But we're doing Metroid Prime. I figured it was the right time since the remaster just came out and I was playing it, so it feels right. And then we also are currently playing Waverace for Retro Rewind. And there's also the Retro Rewind Champions contest that's going on. And right now I'm asking for the best 3-lap time in Sunset Bay. I've got a few entries. One that's pretty dang near the record, actually.
Jeez.
Like it's a lot faster than I was anticipating anybody to put in for the contest with. But it's still out there it's anyone's game. Like it's not down yet, so they can anybody that's listening can submit.
Nice.
Their time still.
Yeah, sweet.
And we just did the Tetris episode, so.
Is it out yet?
Oh yeah, it's out.
Sweet. Good deal. We've got also, don't forget to check out FilmLogic, which is the newest podcast in the family, starring Mike Wright, Solo Something, and Tim Off from the Nintendo Dads. They've got a new episode cooking today, actually. I don't know what it's about, but you'll know what it's about in the future, so go check it out. We also have RetroGroove, which has got a new High Five episode, which is where they pick a top 5 of something. And this time it is part 2 of their 90s cartoon theme song episode, which has been so fun to listen to. Yeah, I can't wait to listen to part 2. And then last but certainly not least, we have new merch. New merch on the table, thanks to John, who's been killing it over here. We have an On Topic Retro sticker that looks like a little Game Boy cartridge, which is adorable. That's $2.99 free shipping in the US. And then we just dropped our coasters, a set of 4 RetroLogic family of podcast coasters. It has all 4 of our podcast logos on there. You got FilmLogic, you got RetroGroove, you got On Topic Retro, and you got RetroLogic logos on there. And they are cool. And they are good quality. Those are $9.99 free shipping if you are in the US. And then we have you have some holographic On Topic Retro stickers coming as well. So
yep, they're just the 3x3 show logo.
Yeah,
but holographic.
It's good stuff.
And I also got a bottle of hot sauce that I might give away.
Oh, from
Sticker Mule.
From Sticker Mule, nice. Yeah, I love how they do that. That's great.
I was talking to Sam yesterday about it. Like, it's too hot for me and my family, so we've got 2 bottles now. So I've got the sealed one that this might be like a Free Stuff Friday giveaway. A bottle of hot sauce.
Hey, it's free. Somebody's gonna want it.
Yeah, I mean it's
people love free stuff.
It's hot.
You know what? I don't talk a lot about Free Stuff Friday on the podcast, but if you're not in the Discord, last week Liam gave away a Turok comic book. And then a few weeks ago, somebody gave away a copy of New Super Mario Brothers on 3DS. And so there's stuff being given away like weekly in this Discord, and you could win it. You could be the one. So get in the Discord. Go to the website, join the Discord. On that note, let's play some Price is Retro. If this is your first time playing The Price is Retro, here's how we play. I'm going to list off 4 or 5 games, and everyone else has to guess how much the lot of games is worth in total. Whoever's the closest to the actual value wins that round. Everyone has a list, and everyone guesses at each other's lists, and at the end, the player who won the most rounds wins the episode. But watch out for our robot, Deus Guess Machina. He averages all of our guesses together for his own guess. Totally off topic, but I watched the movie Ex Machina recently for the first time. And it was a real, really blew the old back of my head off.
It's a crazy
so,
movie.
Yeah, certainly not safe for work movie, but very, very interesting. And before I think about it too much, let's go ahead and play the game. Sam, do you want to go first this time?
Sure, I'm all ready to go. I got my list right here. 5 games this time, making it a little bit more challenging, maybe. I guess.
Did say 4 or 5 games in the intro, so you're still in. Yeah,
I usually stick to 4.
As long as you don't do 6 on us.
Oh no, don't do sit. Yeah, just kidding. We're very loose.
These are all complete in box, actually. Also unusual for me. I've got Star Fox for the Atari 2600.
I freaking knew you were going to say that. That game's come up for me lately.
Desert Fox for the Commodore 64, also complete in box. Spy Fox in Cheese Chase for the PC, complete in box. Psycho Fox for the Sega Master System, complete in box. And lastly, Star Fox for the Super Nintendo. Complete
oh my god, you're trolling me. That's complete in box?
Yep.
All right. I know what one of these is. I'll go first. Let me just add up here. Okay, yeah, I've got $150.
150.
I'm going to go slightly lower, and I'm going to say 130.
130. Okay.
I guess 140. Beep, boop, bop.
Yep, robot guesses 140. The total value is $220.30.
Yes.
So
yes.
Dan takes it with the highest guess.
Yep.
So Star Fox for the Atari 2600, $34. Desert Fox for the Commodore 64, $18. Spy Fox and Cheese Chase for the PC, $19.68. Psycho Fox for the Master System, $83.82. And Star Fox for the Super Nintendo, $64.80.
Oh, that went up. I will take it.
I was expecting those first 3 to be a lot cheaper.
I will take the win. I'm going to go ahead and go next. Mine are all DS, 3DS, Metroid games. So here we go. We have Metroid Prime Hunter's First Hunt, which is the demo game that comes with your DS when you buy it at launch.
Free game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not a game demo, but yes. I mean, it has a game. Yeah, whatever. That's loose because it only comes loose. Metroid Prime Federation Force for the 3DS, complete in box. Metroid Prime Pinball for the Nintendo DS, complete in box. And Metroid Prime Hunters for the Nintendo DS, complete in box. Which has holographic box art, which is very pretty to look at. I look at mine all the time. Just stare at it. And the guesser is going to be Sam. No.
Nope.
Guesser's going to be John.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to say 250.
Okay.
I'm going to say 140.
All right. Deus Guess is somewhere around 200, like 190, 195 or something like that. I just like to know. I like to know where he stands on things before I tell the answer. Okay, so the actual retail price is $230.91. And so I think that still goes to John.
Yep.
Despite Deus Guess Machina being very close on this one. Very close. Almost had us. So that goes to John.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Metroid Prime Pinball got ridiculous. It's $97.24 for Metroid Prime Pinball. It's like $100 DS game now. Crazy. I should have bought it when it was $60 and I was complaining about it. Metroid Prime Hunter's First Hunt is $9.99. Metroid Prime Federation Force is also a staggering $67.70. Why? Why? Tell me why.
Nobody bought it.
Nobody bought it.
It was new.
Nobody still wants it.
I did.
I played the demo and I said, nah. Metroid Prime Hunters is $55.98, which is surprisingly reasonable for, considering all that crap. Yeah. So, John, you're next, and so just all we can do, Sam, is tie it up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right. So all these games are complete in box. The first one is Army Men Air Combat for the N64. The second one is Army Men Sarge's Heroes 2 for the N64.
Okay.
The third game is Battle Tanks for the N64. And then the last game is Killing Time for the 3DO.
John.
Well, I guess it's my turn to guess first.
What happened? What is that?
I was tracking until the 3DO game.
Yeah. Jeez.
I'm just gonna say 250 and leave it there.
I don't know. I'm gonna say 300. I'm gonna do Poltergeist and do 300.
Okay. So the total of my lot is $214.55.
Oh,
So we
that's
tied.
Sam.
We tied.
What do we got? Three-way tie?
Three-way tie.
Yep.
So do we pick a winner somehow?
I think it goes by who's the closest, right?
Yeah.
Who had the closest guess?
see.
But that's all new, John. I don't remember any of that.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, it was me.
Oh.
I was $19 off.
Yeah. Sweet. Congrats. Yeah, I was way
Thank
off.
you.
I remember now.
So, Army Men's Air Combat for the N64 completed box is $52.87. Army Men Sarge's Heroes 2 for the N64 completed box, $43. Battle Tanks for the N64 completed box is $45.17. And Killing Time for the 3DO completed box is $73.51. These are all 3DO developed games.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I knew the Army Men games were 3DO.
Come on,
Yeah, so it was
man.
Battle Tanks. And it's funny because I was digging this up last night, and it got me talking to Sam about how crazy the 3DO was. Back in '93 when it released, it was a $699 console. It's like no wonder this thing failed.
Ridiculous.
I think something like due to inflation, like today it would be like a $1,300 console if it came out today.
Yeah, I mean, people spend that on their PCs easy, like all day.
Yeah, but I mean that's double, more than double PlayStation 5 even,
Yeah, that's true.
or an Xbox, and it's a console. You can't even modify this thing, or it is what it is.
Crazy. Yeah. Well, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Is this your first win this season?
No, I have
This year?
I actually just tied Sam up. I have 3, Sam has 3, you have 2, and the robot has 1. And we haven't had a guest, I don't think,
Haven't had a
in a
guest win
while
this season. Yeah.
to win one.
There's less episodes too, so I gotta catch up. I thought I was doing well, and I am apparently not. Sam,
Well,
though,
you're right with us. You're 1 away.
yeah.
I started the year strong. I
Yeah.
don't think I've won in a while.
Bringing it back. John, you got a trivia card for us?
I do. Let's see. We have. Let's see. How was the Sega Genesis known outside of North America?
Mega Drive.
Yep, the Mega Drive.
That's a good question for somebody who knows nothing about video games.
Yeah, or it's just Sega even in general.
Yeah.
Second question is, the game SSX Tricky is a video game based on which sport?
That would be swimming.
Yeah, this tricky swimming.
Street luge.
Yeah, it makes me wonder why we don't have a diving game.
Oh yeah, that seems like that would be like an Olympic sport game in a multi-game game. You know what I mean?
Seems like it would be.
Or like a Wii Sports something.
Right, yeah, something like that.
At least like a Mario Party minigame.
Or even like a Mario and Sonic,
at the
yeah.
Olympics,
That's what I was thinking, yeah. Oh, my dryer's about to buzz, so before that happens, let's go to our show topic, and when we get back, we'll talk about our show topic. What is the show topic?
we will.
Well, you're just gonna have to wait and find out, aren't you? Aren't you there, bucko?
It's a mystery.
Mystery topic. All right, 30. Let's jump into this thing here. All right. Welcome back. Today, the mystery show topic is playing games at launch versus playing them for the first time later.
Not at launch.
This is hard to. Let me tell the story.
Playing old games you haven't played before.
Kind of.
Pretty much, yeah.
But almost also it's more like, here's where this came from. Okay, here's where this came from. I've been, for the past, since December, I have been obsessing over Ben Folds, the piano pop songwriter, artist, music player guy. And he's been around since the early 90s. Like, he's been around forever. And he's got a whole fan base, and they know all the things. And they were there for the launches of all the albums, and they were there to see him in concert when he was Ben Folds 5 and all that stuff. And so going into that fan base fresh, I love his music. I connect with it so much. And I can talk some Ben Folds, Like I read his memoir twice, and so I know some stuff. But I have always had the perspective in retro gaming that I was there. I was there for the launch of the Super Nintendo and onward, and then 64 and GameCube and Dreamcast and PlayStation 2 and like all that stuff. I was there for it. I remember what people were excited about. I remember what I was excited about. I remember what I bought. I remember what other people bought and what was bad about it and what was good about it. I remember all that stuff. Like I lived it. And that stuff doesn't really translate to people who are sort of fresh, like somebody who's 16 or 19 now. Like they remember the launch of the Wii, maybe, you know, but that's crazy to me and this also came up because, every once in a while, there will be a question on Twitter or Reddit or something where it's like, hey, what was the launch of the Nintendo 64 like? Like, were people as apprehensive about the controller back then? Like, did people like the graphics? Like, what was it like back then versus PlayStation? And that's a great question to think about. Like, oh, yeah, what did we think in 1996? You know? And so again, like, so I'm in this world now where it's like, I'm a huge Ben Folds fan now. Like I'm a Ben Folds fan for life. I'm going to go see him when he comes to Dallas in October. And I listen to like his whole catalog of music. But I'm asking questions like this now. Like I'm asking like, hey, when Whatever and Ever Amen came out, like what was the reception like? And like, was that the best album? And like, you know, has it evolved over time? You know, because I'm listening to what I like and I'm talking about like, oh, I like this album. And people are like, oh, yeah, I guess the album did get better because at launch it wasn't very good. And so that got me thinking like, okay, so there's video games that launched either because of marketing or because of the landscape that launched and just sort of flopped or were panned by critics and nobody bought, that later we realized like, okay, no, this is actually a really good game and it was just a bad time for that game. Or like it took some maturity on our part to realize that it was good. So I wanted to talk about that, you know, like our experiences with games at launch and what it was like at launch, the landscape, and what the actual quality of the game was, and when the fan base sort of met the game where it was and decided that it was actually a good thing. And so the sort of quintessential game that I think everybody can sort of agree on that had this problem was Wind Waker, the Zelda Wind Waker game. You know, we got the Space World GameCube tech demo with this very realistic looking Zelda and Link and Ganon fighting. And then the GameCube Zelda game comes out, and it's Wind Waker. So, yeah, you know, and I don't think it bothered me personally. I bought it at launch. I pre-ordered it. I got the pre-order bonus demo disc. I got all that stuff. I was hyped for it. But yeah, it was certainly not something that most people were happy about. So,
no, and I mean, I think you could almost throw like Mario Sunshine in there too.
Really?
Like, just think of all the, like, it was considered the worst 3D Mario for like the longest time. And like now people come back to it and they're like, it's really not as bad as we thought it was.
Yeah, I don't really remember the reception of Sunshine at the time. That was another game where I was like, no, this is great. I love it.
Like I know I even kind of skipped it when it came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was already out on it. I played like a demo of it at a store and I was like, this isn't Mario 64. Like, it doesn't feel right.
You know, you could almost say the entirety of the Dreamcast had this had this problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it was a victim.
Nobody realized what the Dreamcast was as good as it was when it came out.
It was a victim of its own timing.
And one of the things you're removed from is the timing of the release, right? You're also removed from the fact that it was a pretty expensive system when it launched, wasn't it?
Dreamcast. I remember we got it when it hit $99. They slashed the price pretty quick there.
Yeah, they were trying to compensate for that. Yeah.
And like it even came with
problem seemed like it came out on its own, right? Like it didn't have nobody was buying consoles at that point in time.
No, I think everybody was waiting for the PS2. I think
it's more of that.
Like Sony was launching. Well, Sony was talking about the PS2 around the time the Dreamcast came out, and so there was definitely hype for the Dreamcast. Like I remember the hype for the Dreamcast. But if you bought a PS1 and you see the Dreamcast, but you hear what's happening at Sony, and you're like, I think I'm gonna wait for the PS2 in a couple of years. Like that was a big problem.
Well, and you also have to couple the bad blood that Sega had produced over, things like the Saturn, and let's just continually add on to the Genesis until you have a tower.
Right.
People keep buying this stuff. Like when the 32X came out, like you could, it came out like almost the same time as the Saturn did.
Yeah,
so
which is
people
crazy.
bought a 32X, and then like
crazy.
A few weeks later, they're like, "Here's our new console," and it's like, "What the heck?"
Man? And then the Saturn's like surprise launch, like all that stuff. Just
surprise launch, and then not even 2 years later, I guess it was like 4 years later, you get the Dreamcast. It was like early.
Actually, the Saturn too. Like the love for the Saturn in that fan base is pretty strong, and most of those people didn't have one at launch. It's people who are like, oh, work and design RPGs and fighting games and stuff that really worked well on the Saturn. They're going back and playing those games, realizing how good they are.
It goes to show you how like strength in the market like kind of lifts everybody up. That's why you see a lot of consoles releasing around the same time, because it kind of creates that competitive nature, and people are buying into things. But when you release on your own and you just got done buying like the competitor's console the year before, you really kind of don't want to go out and buy another console already.
I know.
It's not spread out enough that you've got the money saved up for it, but it's still too close for you to really wait out.
Like if this happened today, I think you would be okay. Like there's enough people out there that just want to have the latest and greatest thing, and they don't care nowadays.
Well, you could even
I think it would be much more of a problem. I think it would be much more of a problem for PlayStation and Xbox to release like 2 years apart. Nintendo could put a new system out whenever.
Yeah, they did it. They did that with the Switch.
It's kind of a separate thing.
The Switch that's
probably what they will do.
The Switch has no disk drive, right? It's like have hybrid portable weird situation.
That's the thing. Nintendo hasn't competed with anybody in a while.
It launched halfway through a console cycle. Like they weren't competing with anybody. They were just saying like, here's a thing, and everybody, oh, it was amazing, and it was amazing.
It was similar to what happened there. Yeah. You had like a 3-year cycle between Saturn and Dreamcast in reality, because it was like 95 to 98. And it was kind of due to the same reasons. Poor sales on the Saturn like kind of pushed the Dreamcast out. Mm-hmm. And same with Nintendo. Poor sales on the Wii U was like, we got to kind of do something now.
Yeah.
Or we're going to sink.
Sam, I think you put Earthbound down here as an example, which is... Yeah, I'm aware of like the fan base of Earthbound, but I actually haven't ever played it. So maybe you can speak to that.
Well, that's the joke. The fan base of Earthbound hasn't played it either. Earthbound is interesting because it kind of gives you both sides of this. Because it's actually kind of hard to find reviews from launch, but from what I'd seen, it was not reviewed highly. It wasn't like panned, but it got like 7 out of 10s.
But the culture around it was non-existent.
To be fair, too, at this time period, 7 out of 10 was a lot more acceptable. There's definitely been like especially in games, a sort of inflation of scores over time. People were more willing to give something a 7 out of 10. A 7 out of 10 could still be a recommend for a lot of sources at the time. But, you know, it was definitely not to the point where it is today. And I think there really is two sides of this. That kind of going in at launch, there's, you know, any well-known game, you're going to be influenced to think about it a certain way. And that might be one thing at launch where people looked at Earthbound and they're like, what even is this? I don't get it. Whereas today, if you pick up Earthbound, people are going to tell you all these reasons why it's the best thing ever. And so you're kind of going to be influenced the other way. And I do find it interesting because you've removed yourself from the circumstances of its release with the weird marketing that did not really effectively sell the game.
Scratch and sniff.
And people still not even really, like, RPGs still hadn't really caught on. Like, some people had played Dragon Warrior, some people got it, but pre-Final Fantasy VII, a lot of people still just didn't even understand RPGs.
Well, and there was also
Earthbound being kind
cost.
of like a meta commentary on RPGs and the cost, which was really, I think, the nail in the coffin for Earthbound was they promoted it so heavily that it came in a giant box with a player's guide, and most people just didn't want to shell out for that.
It was like $100, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Yeah, I think at least 80 or 90.
Yeah, I know it was one of the more expensive games to come out, and I mean, it was pretty common for RPGs to be an $80 purchase on Super Nintendo, especially like Square games.
But I mean, to the point where I think anybody picking up the game today might be surprised to find they don't like it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people played Earthbound for the first time and realized maybe it wasn't for them. I say that as somebody who likes it. I'd like
very
it. Very
quirky.
You know me. I like Star Fox Zero. I mean,
get out of here with that.
I do think that, but like at this point, like the opinion that you're supposed to have on Earthbound is that it's one of the best RPGs ever, and unless you really don't like it, I don't think you're gonna like even reach that conclusion, because you'll be like, oh well, you know, okay, I guess this is this, you know. So I do find that interesting that, you know, you can kind of remove yourself, but I think that's almost even harder to remove yourself from, is once there's like an entrenched opinion on a game, it takes a long time for that to change, and it takes a lot of effort to kind of remove yourself from that influence. It can happen. I mean, I remember, like, you know, there was a very firm negative opinion on Zelda 2 for a long time, around the time I'd first played it. And that's kind of gone away by now. People are a little bit more forgiving towards that game.
That was Adam's pick in the community for his game that was panned at launch but gained popularity, was Zelda 2. I have a question for you guys related to this topic. Somebody who doesn't know anything about gaming, like, comes in and says today, like they're let's say they're like 15 or 16, and they're like, tell me something about a console launch from the past that, like, I wouldn't understand as a kid in 2023. I have one to give you an example. So playing Super Mario 64 at Toys R Us for the first time is an insane experience in 1996. It's literally one of the only times, no, I think it's the only time in my life where I said out loud to myself, video games are never going to be the same. Like, things have changed so drastically in such a short amount of time that, like, this is quite literally like a euphoric experience. being 3D Mario in a 3D world, a polygonal world, and it looks this good, and he plays amazing. Like this is what in our dreams we imagined Mario would be like in real life. That's what we thought when they were looking at it's like crappy N64 graphics and like this weird controller. Like our minds were blown by the Nintendo 64. And so today you're looking at like graphics, you look at N64 graphics and you're like, they're terrible. They look bad. Like, and they do compared to anything that's out today. But if all you had was the Super Nintendo and then you see Mario 64, like your brain has left your body. You're in a different planet. Does anybody have anything like any examples of like something that a younger generation wouldn't understand from a console launch or something like that?
I mean, that's really the main one where you went from 2D to 3D. So
like memory cards,
the biggest one. Yeah, memory cards.
How about memory cards?
What do you need those for?
There's a lot of stuff that's changed, but I think that is one of the big things too, that as you know, kind of that consensus shifts over time, is I think when stuff is new, people give a lot more weight to the graphics.
Yeah.
Because that's what people are looking for. They want to, people are still saying that about, PS5 and stuff, is we haven't seen real next gen yet. Where's the real next gen, know? But when you play something and it's old, you're not looking for that. Nobody cares about, Crysis now. That used to be the benchmark of like, can your PC run Crysis? But like, the gameplay is just kind of meh, It doesn't matter when you take that away.
Well, and I think like another big one too is just disc media, like playing games on a disc. Because like when PlayStation came out, like DVDs weren't even really that big of a deal.
That wasn't even a thing yet. It was all VHS back then.
I mean, you could get DVDs were, I think like earlier 90s, but definitely not as mainstream as they would come to be. PlayStation kind of was there before that. I mean, to the point where when you think about it, PlayStation 2 was like everybody was buying it because it was also a DVD player.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's another one. Like it's a glorified DVD player because it was cheaper than all the other DVD players.
Well, yeah, at that time it was way cheaper and like more like it could do two things. You didn't have to have two boxes on your TV shelf or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just insane because whenever we're kids and we're playing the Super Nintendo, I never imagined that my games would come on a disc at one point, and then like today you don't have to have any media, you can just download it.
I will say one thing that I remember, I swear I could tell the difference between a PS2 and an Xbox graphically. I swear I could, and I don't think I could do that today. Back when those were new and you were playing an Xbox, you thought it looked way better than a PS2, but I don't think I can make that distinction in 2023.
It's the same even with PlayStation and N64. When I was a kid, I was a Nintendo kid, so of course N64 looked better. But when you look back at them now, it's like muddled.
I still think
that's the thing is I feel more vindicated by history than anything because I've never been a look at the graphics guy,
Yeah.
And that's another one actually. Symphony of the Night. I remember this is more recent, but seeing, reviews from a magazine at the time that was really down on Symphony of the Night for looking old, because at the time anything with 3D games already was anything with 2D graphics was this looks dated.
Right.
But that's the thing. Like with PlayStation, they were kind of in between. You still got a lot of 2D games on PlayStation. Where
especially the early PlayStation,
N64, like they're non-existent.
There's like Mischief Makers.
Yeah, there's
and we had Yoshi's Story.
That's what I'm saying. Everything had to be 3D.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm trying to think if there's another one, but those are the two that pop off. So we had some community submissions based on this weird question that is hard to explain, but commonly we heard a lot of people talk about this game God Hand for the PS2. Do either of you have any experience with that?
No.
I'm aware of it, but
the same from a lot of people.
Yeah, I've just heard that it's like a Souls-like in a way, and that the gaming public in general just wasn't ready for that kind of game, but it's apparently like really, really good. Might have to emulate that because I'm not going to go spend the money on it. But it sounds really cool. Yeah, very expensive.
To get you a Retroid Pocket.
Octorock. I'll just play it on my laptop. Adam said Zelda 2 again, which, you know, we were all, everybody back then, that's a generation that I wasn't really around for. But I can imagine the original Legend of Zelda blowing everybody's minds. And then they're like, Zelda 2, great. And it's totally different. It's like not even close to being the same thing.
This is another one where you could probably add Mario 2 to that. You know, everybody was like, what is this game? When it came out.
That was still functionally the same. It was a side scroller, right? And there was some new weird stuff.
I know, but expectations were probably set a little bit differently.
Yeah.
You know, for the sequel to basically what brought games back.
Maybe.
You know, Mario Bros. Kind of brought gaming back from the dead, and then you get a sequel and you're like, this is not even the same kind of game. Like, this is totally different. And then now it's like, you know, everybody loves Mario 2 now.
Love Mario 2. Presto brought up Among Us, which is an interesting take. It's more of a modern situation, but I suppose the story there is that for 2 years, Among Us was just like a simple little online game that like nobody was playing, and then streamers started to pick it up.
Yep.
Then it blew up.
It's kind of a weird, it's a special situation of just not being present. You know, people didn't know it existed. Mm-hmm. And then a few people got a hold of it and it exploded.
Yeah.
I think that, to go back to your previous question, the biggest thing probably different from, you know, growing up earlier or being a gamer earlier was, at least to me, not having the internet effectively anyway. I mean, we had internet, but it was dial up and there was one computer in the house
and one phone line.
You know, a lot of the time I found out a game existed at the store.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think that's very
that hasn't
common
happened
today.
ever anymore.
Yeah.
And then Spider Shan brought up the game No Man's Sky, which I'm not sure qualifies because it's
totally different game.
It's
now.
not a different game. It's not the same game.
It's not just people's perspective on it changed.
It's
the game
literally
itself
different.
changed.
I don't think anybody's nostalgic.
Say.
I don't think anybody's nostalgic for launch No Man's Sky. That's not. It's not good.
I mean,
well, that's a whole thing that's still very weird to me. Is like World of Warcraft Classic. I know there's people way into it, but it seems so strange to me that they're like marketing based on nostalgia for a game that never went away. It just slowly changed.
Yeah, but it's slowly changed over the course of like 20 years to where like it's not even recognizable anymore in its original state. If you went back and played it now, you'd be like, man, this is like ridiculous. There's so little to do.
But I think a lot of people make the assumption that you know, to a newer fan who wasn't there, that doesn't have appeal. But I don't think that's the case. I think, you know, this is where we see what really holds up and what doesn't. You know, every NES game I've played, I played as somebody who wasn't alive when it came out. And most of them well after the fact. I wasn't playing NES games in 1995 when I was 3 years old. I was playing them in like 2008, you know, and I discovered a lot of games and had a lot of fun with them. So I think, you know, you go in with you definitely do go in with a different mindset, but I think there's still a lot of appeal there to anybody. And I think there's a lot of value in kind of removing yourself from what other people think about it and just, you know, having your own opinions.
Yeah, go play it yourself.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you're the NES kind of translates better, like even by today's standards of video games. Like I think you'd be more hard pressed to find, classic games that you love.
I have not got hooked on the Atari or in television stuff, really.
ColecoVision.
No, I can't get into that stuff. No. It's too simplistic.
I grew up on a lot of those things because that's, we had a 2600 growing up, and I didn't get an NES until later. My brother and we played a ton of games on our 2600. We had a whole bunch, and they were cheap. Yeah. But when if I showed that to my kids today, they would just laugh at me. They're like, this isn't even a game.
I'd laugh at you.
What is this?
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks for talking about my little topic here, guys. Thought it was kind of a cool little interesting perspective I had. So that worked out. So this is the end of our show. We're creeping in on episode 100. I don't know if you noticed that or not. And we're trying to make some plans. And we're not trying. We are actively making plans behind the scenes for some cool stuff for episode 100, which, if we stay on track, and if I can keep talking while I pull my calendar out of my phone so I can tell you the date that we're going to record that, we've got another episode early April. So I'm going to say by the end of April, we'll have some episode 100 stuff going on for you to check out, including the episode itself, which we're planning on getting as many hosts as we possibly can on here from all over the Retroverse. So that's going to be pretty cool. So look forward to that. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to say before we say goodbye?
Did you know that dreams taste like beans
every time?
Yes.
I knew it was coming.
Don't forget that dreams taste like beans. Don't let your dreams be beans. That's what I'm trying to say. Or beans be dreams.
Go buy some stickers.
Yeah.
Then there has beans.
Has beans. Let's not be has beans. Let's keep it going. Well, that's gonna about do it then. Thanks for listening to the RetroLogic podcast. We are proudly part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. If you like what you hear, check me out on Twitter at RetroLogic Games. You're also more than welcome to jump into our friendly and 100% non-toxic Discord community. The link to that is in my Twitter bio, as well as on our website, which is retrologic.games. You can find all the information you need about RetroLogic at retrologic.games. You should go there and check out the new homepage that I worked on for a little while. Just do it now. Just do it while you're thinking about it. And that will make me very happy. Also, go read a blog post while you're there. So, that's just about gonna do it for us here. We will check y'all on the next one, and goodbye.
Bye now.
Goodbye.
I'm gonna go stop my dryer, and then we will commence.
Sounds good to me. Strangely quiet with my new computer. It's not blowing a bunch of air in my face like my laptop was.
I thought you just meant the keyboard.
And the keyboard, yeah. I got a quieter keyboard. Sold my clicky one to Adam.
Okay.
So I told him, I was like, that keyboard's got history. Because Dan would always complain about how loud it was.
Oh yeah, your loud, clicky, dumb keyboard. I hate.
Now it's Adam's loud, clicky, dumb keyboard.
Well, I don't have to podcast with him every day. I got this replacement stick, this replacement N64 stick.
Is there something wrong with it?
I don't think it's authentic. Like, I don't think it's OEM, but it's like, it feels very good. So I'm curious. Maybe it is authentic and they just repackaged things.
Should have a Nintendo.
It doesn't.
Marking on it somewhere.
Nowhere. You're going nowhere.
As long as you didn't buy the one that's like the GameCube stick replacement.
Oh yeah, what's wrong with those?
Well, it's just a shorter stick. It doesn't feel right.
I would love to get one of those steel sticks, but I'm not going to spend $100 on fucking... Yeah, they need to come down or something, figure something out. I need you guys to be cheaper.